will return to your scheduled programming shortly, or we are currently experiencing technical difficulty.
What is going on YouTube? Michael J. Crawford, the Anti-Trekker here for another fun-filled night of Star Trek Discovery. We'll see how that goes. But before we get into the show, first of all, Thomas says hi and was first today. Chief Cook says hi and damn to Thomas. The person whose name I can never pronounce, it's Argano, says nth, because, you know, you're nth. Commander Shran says hello. And then Argano says I was thirds. Josh says death to the spinning Spock. Death to the spinning Spock? I love spinning Spock. What is your problem? John says fifth. Mike Richards is here from Columbus. Good to see you as always, Mike. The multi-gun man is in, says how's it going? Not too bad. By the way, I didn't quite get a clear answer. I think it was on BIRDOPREY stream. They were asking how many guns does the multi-gun man have? I don't know the answer to that. Thomas throws a $1.99 in and says, is your neighborhood safe? And wants to see number 8 because Thomas clearly did not look at the super chat list. So we'll play number 8.
Anal natrach, was betad, doch jeldienle.
Ariel Natris Oris Bazi Bedhead Duchel Dementa. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Thank you so much, BIRDOPREY, for giving us no end to entertainment. By the way, BIRDOPREY gave us some great stuff on his stream today. If you weren't there, he sang a rendition of Godzilla that was just so awesome that I had to record it for an upcoming super chat. Chrono says first, and Irgano says Punchy the Wonder Bag. I do have Punchy the Wonder Bag right here, just in case I need it, which it's a Discovery night, so I'm sure I will. Let's see. Hello, how's your evening? Not too bad, Robert. June Wong says spin Spock spin, so finally someone appreciates spinning Spock. Chrono says, greetings, pilgrims. Commander Ty says, howdy. John, the foreign peasant, says, hello, hello. Thomas says, is he blurry? Do I look blurry to you? I don't know. Am I blurry? Bird turds are the worst. Bird. Oh, is the word. Okay. Got enough booze tonight? Well, I got a little bit here. So enough to get me through. Richie Poole says, hi, how you doing? Not first, says Mr. Miles. R.I.P. Liver, says John. That's why I only drink heavily on Star Trek Discovery nights. Josh says, hey, Trekker, make it through the night or we'll end up in a fetal position drooling. Depends on how bad the episode is. Chief says, Captain Foley's online. Not surprised. Captain Foley's usually on at this time wrapping up his reaction. If any of you were there, I don't know what he thought of it, but I'm curious if any of you know. First, in an alternate reality, says Richie, that's very true if you believe in the many worlds theory. The answer is that I have approximately 30 guns. That's a lot of guns, but if you're a gun collector, that's certainly reasonable. I mean, I have over 5,000 comic books, and I certainly don't need them. But, you know, I do enjoy having them. Hector says, first from my country. I see what you did there. So now Thomas read the super chat description and said number 2. So I will tell you a quick backstory on number 2. Number 2 is a little unique in the old super chat world, not because it's an animation by Joshua. This is a complete Joshua original work. I did give him kind of the idea, but he went in the direction he wanted to go with it. And the subject matter of this super chat is a little unique in that it is not science fiction or fantasy based. So Now, granted, not everything that we've done in the super chats is, but most of it has been all along. So, but like, you know, lore, the James Bond thing, and lore walking down the street, those weren't. But this is actually based on the answer to a question that I had about a classic children's cartoon / novel called Charlotte's Web. And if you've never seen Charlotte's Web, you'll probably be scratching your head. If you have seen Charlotte's Web, hopefully this will be freaking hilarious to you. So I present to you the new number 2.
Charlotte, did you have a husband? We must not speak of him.
There it is. The truth about... Because did anybody ever wonder, if you've ever seen Charlotte's Web, where the male spider that impregnated Charlotte so she could have the egg sac? All right. So let me know what you guys think of that. John says that Multi-Gunman is a gun nut. And let's see here. Oh, wow. Man, I'm so far behind already. By the power of Gray Skull. Hello, Anti-Tracker, says Ryan. I'm skipping around a little bit. 11th commandment, don't be a dick. That should actually be the first commandment, but yes, that is true. Let's see. Bunch of highs and hellos. Don't hit it yet. That's a drink. Oh, yeah, I know. You got to drink if I punch the punching bag. You will need it, says Commodore Ty. We'll find out. I will pull out my phone so I can watch you while Doomcock is on TV. Fan of both you guys. Instead of picking one or the other, I watch both of you. Very cool. Doomcock is awesome. Only Spock's hair should spin. Then the spore jumps. You spin me around. You're blurry, me too, and I hear static on 2 devices. That's weird. I don't know why, because you're the only one complaining about it. John throws $2 into the chat and says, oh no, they say he's got to go. 13, Bird his demand. Oh, man.
Hey, you want to learn about Jesus?
There's no such thing as hooker-client confidentiality.
I like spinning Spock as much as the next guy, but an hour of it, oh my god. Well, you guys begged me to do it, so I did it. That's why I did it. My eyes must be bad. I don't know, maybe you're just having a bad internet day. Commodore Ty says it's bad, Anti-Checker. It's bad. Uh-oh. Oh, man. No. Although, last time someone said it was bad, it actually wasn't bad, so we'll find out. Commander Ironwolf throws a couple of bucks in, says, YouTube gaming a free super chat. So here you go. YouTube gaming. You mean YouTube gave you a free super chat? Well, if that's cool. Hello there, Anti-Checker. It's time for you to get drunk tonight with STD. We'll find out in just a minute here. I'm going to cut off the comments in a minute and get into it. Captain Foley gave it a 9. Holy crap. That should be good. 5,000 comic books, SOB. Well, I kept them. I didn't throw them away. Captain Foley just finished Snowflake. I want to see that. One of these times, some of you, Mr. Miles, you like to edit stuff. I want to get an edit of Captain Foley doing me. I want to see that. Did Bird sing this and throws a YouTube clip of something? No, not that Godzilla. He did the classic pop tune, Godzilla. That one. I don't remember the name of the band now. I should, but I can't. Why don't you just open a comic book store? Because 5,000 comics is not enough. Ask Nerdrotic. All right, so let's see here. Captain, let's see, I already read that. Gave it a 9.5 out of 10. I think he meant 10. Wow, that's a pretty good rating. That better be good then. Animal Farm Super Chat. Well, it's Charlotte's Web. See? Kronos liked it, as did John. I appreciate that. Thank you guys. Sorry for skipping so many chats, but man, you guys are going crazy, and I need to get started here. So, new video is out. Did you get a chance to check it out? I saw it in my inbox, Ensign Ricky, but I haven't watched it yet. Please, Anti-Tricker, be careful of the howevers. I will try to be careful of the howevers, because I know that when I say however, you take a drink. And however, I think that's a foolish game, because I do tend to say however a lot. And I don't want you to pass out because I said however many times I do. Doomcock is awesome, but Anti-Tricker is awesomer. I disagree, but thank you. Was a 9 on the torture anti-trucker scale or on the good scale? Well, apparently, I mean, Captain Foley gave it a 9.5. That's pretty bad. T-Berg says if you tear up your cannon card, it's a 9. Well, we'll see. Thank you, Josh. Blue Oyster Cult. You are correct. Foley doing you, please no gay stuff. Yeah, I should have phrased that differently. And I'll keep it in mind that you want to see Foley doing. Yeah, that's not what I'm. Let's see. Oh, spoiler, Anti-Checker. Someone let Jet Reno out of the duct tape locker finally. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I was beginning to wonder about that. All right, so enough about. I'm going to stop on the chats for a minute, unless there's a super chat, because I gotta get going here, and I have one other thing I want to cover before I start the video, and it actually has to do with BIRDOPREY. BIRDOPREY today, his live stream, he's talking about the Aurora Borealis and showed off a bunch of pictures of it, and I texted this picture to him. But and it's not going to show up really well because of the green screen thing. But this is a picture, 8x10 photo. I'm trying to hold it in an angle so it doesn't get completely messed up by the green screen effects of the Aurora Borealis. This 8x10 photo was taken and actually developed by my father back in the early 1990s. This photo has a lot of sentimental value because I was standing right next to him when this photo was taken, and it was just an absolutely amazing thing. And this is one of the last times that my father and I did anything together, just the two of us before he passed away. So we were actually on a fishing trip. Anyway, that's all that was. I wanted to show that off a little bit. Now, tonight's episode, we'll see if it's any good. The name of tonight's episode is Through the Valley of Shadows, which I imagine is an allusion to the biblical reference, the Valley of the Shadow of Death. But, you know, I doubt they're going to do anything over. Well, the most they might do with religion is say that religion is bad, but you know they're kind of par for the course. Excuse me, allergies are killing me this year. How much you get Anti-Tricker to paint his face green? I don't know. Come up with a number and we'll work on it. So let's get this bad boy started. So as always, the word of warning that I always give when I'm doing one of these live reactions is because I will be watching the show, I can't always keep an eye on the chat. I will try to look over if I see my name pop up. I'll try to glance at it. And if there's a super chat, obviously I'll stop and read it. But other than that, I need to focus a little bit on the show or I will not even get halfway through it tonight. And one week, it took me 3 nights to get through this whole thing. I do have a variety of booze in case it is needed. And so let us start this bad boy up with the usual CBS logo. And I know, by the way, some people were worried that while the scenes from last week are playing, I don't really care. But the people were concerned because what happened to MEGGACHAT getting pulled. I'm confident that, number one, with the amount of the picture that it's obscured by me sitting in front of it, I don't think the bots will detect it. And if CBS wants to come after me for talking about their show, then, yeah, they're just going to get... That's not a good idea. Is it just me or does Anti-Tricker more gray than he used to? Well, yeah, you know, I'm old. And actually part of it's because the lighting is a little better in here so you can see it better. So they're basically recapping everything that Leland stole the spear data, that he was the AI, you know, we've been assuming he's like Borgified or something, but control is taken over. And they're showing Burnham's mom getting sucked into the space anus. And then the little thing with Michael and Spock hanging out in their quarters. All right, so let's see what happens here. So Burnham is watching one of the logs of her mom saying that when things are better, she'll come back. But she's getting a transmission from Amanda Grayson, Spock's mom, for those that don't know the name. And you're saying I'm not muted? I'm not muted, but the show should be. You shouldn't hear that except for faintly, maybe, through my microphone. So Amanda's kind of consoling Michael over the loss of her, the re-loss, I guess you could say, of her mother. And Kobayashi Maru, if they come after me, let them try. What are they going to do? I mean, even if they ban me from live stream, I will, you know, Mrs. Antrecker is going to set up a channel that I will set up as a live stream channel. So that, yeah. So now Spock is coming in. So far, I mean, we haven't really gotten into anything, but at least nothing offensively bad. That's good. Except I really don't like these holographic communications, but, you know, they established that a while ago. Just got to deal with it. A couple of people said it's a good episode, so we'll find out. Chief is saying drink first. I'm not going to drink until I need to. So they're trying to figure out there's a new red burst over a Klingon planet. And so they're trying to figure out where that came from, since Burnham's mom is no longer has a time suit. Although, here's a problem. And they're concerned. Oh, you're right. I did forget. I'm so sorry. Let me get Discord going. Thank you. Let me bring that up. And my apologies. Thank you for reminding me. And for those of you that don't know what I'm doing, on Discord, I do a simulcast of the live stream. You guys should be able to hear me now, so that you can actually hear Discovery playing when I'm watching it. So that if you want to hear and follow along with where I'm at in the episode, you absolutely can by listening in on the Discord server. Oh, and as long as I'm on the screen, let's change the name of Super Chat 2. I don't know why, but I like that name, so I called it Charlotte's Dread. Why not? All right. So let's get back. Let me get the chat back up here, or else I'm not going to be able to see if anybody sends a chat. All right. If the Mrs. Anti-Checker channel gets to 10,000, will you tell us why you're at? Yes. Oh, Commander Arwolf, you forgot my super chat. I want Death of Disco. Oh no, I didn't. I didn't see you requested Death of Disco, so I'll bring that up right now for you since we're paused right now. Let's get that up, and I even remember to unmute the audio. There we go. Thank you, Commander Ironwolf. I do appreciate your generosity and your patience. I apologize for being so far behind on that. But did the drama have the baboon woman? I don't know. But let's continue on. And what? Whoa, 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 what? Hold on, hold on. This is a major okay. Gonna have a little bit of Tennessee whiskey here. All right, so and by the way, I think this is a new record. Had to have 2 drinks on that one. 3 minutes and 42 seconds into the episode. And again, I am genuinely trying to not overly knock Discovery right now for their continuity violations with other shows. They've already established in Discovery how different everything is, which I don't like, but I'm not going to constantly, harp on the same thing every time. But this is bad. And this is the second time this season they've done this. It's not only are they violating their own continuity within the show, but they are violating the point of the last episode. Now, that could be a good thing because last week's episode was horrifically bad. But for those of you that saw it or saw enough of these reviews of it to know what it was about, last week's episode, the whole point of it was that they couldn't just delete the spear information from Discovery's database, but what they could do is transfer it to the magic Red Angel suit and then send the Red Angel suit distant and way off into the future where it can't hurt anybody. So so they just established that not only does Discovery still have the sphere data, but that they couldn't transmit it. But they just spent the whole last episode talking about how they transferred it and Leland stole it, but Leland apparently doesn't have it because they couldn't transfer it, even though they even showed just now, 3 minutes ago in this episode, they showed the scene where Leland stole the information. And yeah, they were keeping a countdown. Oh, look, he's got 40%. He's got 50%. But now he just doesn't have it? Because the line that Saru said, we have determined that the information cannot be deleted or transferred. How do you determine that after you transferred the data? That is asinine. Now, like I said, this could be a good thing because last week's episode was horrifically bad, and if they're retconning last week's episode, maybe they have a better idea of what to do that they weren't thinking of when they wrote last week's episode. I'm hoping that's the case, in which case I would forgive them the retcon, but that is insulting to 3 minutes into an episode completely say, yeah, and yeah, they transferred it from the sphere, so why couldn't they, yeah. So now their priority is to safeguard the data since they can't delete it and they can't transfer it. So they need to keep Control from getting it. But if it can't be deleted or transferred, how is Control going to get it? If it's stuck in the Discovery computers and can't go anywhere, so they need to go to this Klingon planet, so Ash is going to make arrangements with the Chancellor in order to get there. We don't care about the credits. So let me skip through. Alright. So we get a nice shot of Discovery. It looked like it spore jumped in. It didn't even warp in. It spore jumped to the Klingon planet. So I guess now the spore drive just works. And it doesn't matter that every time they use it, they're, you know, harming millions of innocent victims. But that's okay. And yes, MC, we talked about it last week. They should have just blown up Discovery, or at the very least, purged the computer, right? If they just purge the freaking computer and they do, you know, they do a complete reset of the entire computer, of every memory bank, and just wipe it out, factory data reset, you're done. So, Ash is telling Burnham about his baby, and that his baby is on this Klingon planet. So, eject the computer core and face her. Yeah, that could work. So Ash is feeling depressed. Now he's fessed up to Michael Burnham about his kid, and Michael Burnham's giving a hug. Not a bad scene, honestly, as far as, you know, this kind of stuff goes. It's not particularly interesting, but they didn't like completely botch it or anything. And yeah, I think she probably did have to stand on a box for that. For these shots, because she's so much shorter than him. So a Section 31 ship didn't check in because they can... for such a super-duper uber-secret organization, it certainly is easy to track them all. Oh, and there's a D7 with Laurel that just showed up, so that Michael seems to magically know is there. And so let's see. So we get the shot of the Klingon D7. It doesn't look bad, but we don't see enough of it there. I don't know if I'll bring it so you can see it here if I lean back. It's not bad looking. I will say this. If this is what they did as far as the visual style of this show for everything, I would be okay with it. I mean, granted, I could nitpick the crap out of this D7. For example, if you look at the warp nacelle, wow, right over here with the green glowing blob on the back, it's all it's shaped wrong. If you look at the sloping wing section right here, we can see like lights on it that were never in the original D7. There's a lot of little detail things that they've changed on the D7. That being said, it looks like a D7. I mean, I know it's not an exact match, but it looks like, hey, a reimagined version of a D7. Granted, it looks a little more like a Katinga than a D7, but like it's a little too thin. You know, like I already talked about, the warp nacelle is shaped oddly. But if you threw that ship at me, you know, if you throw me an Eagle Moss of that ship and you say, what is that? I would say, well, it looks like a D7. So, Sci-Fi Sith wants me to read the last comment. Let me take a look. So it's official. Star Trek Discovery is not a serialized TV show. It just goes episode to episode with each its own storyline. Well, it's serialized, but then they retcon themselves over and over. This is the second major retcon of their own continuity this season that retconned the information we got from the episode before. Breaking news. First Klingon ship on STD. Yeah. This is the first genuine looking Klingon ship. I don't hate this ship. Now, granted, this is the only angle I've seen it so far, but I can live with this. And yeah, and that's the thing, Richie. It does look Klingon. And I don't think it just kind of looks Klingon. It clearly looks like a Klingon design. And I know that it's a little fuzzy on the screen here, and that's because of the, you know, there's a little bit of distortion there to help keep the bots at bay. but I'm not hating it. And in fact, some of the stuff, like, I like, even though it's hard to see, some of the detail here, and I don't know, I'm sure Foley could tell you what the point of that particular structure on the back of the D7 is. I like that they actually have a lot of similarity. I love the D7. It's one of my favorite designs of all time. When I was a kid, I built like 5 different of the Revell D7 model kits, and then subsequently kept destroying them because I would want to play with them and the models aren't toys. But that back housing, while it has more little details and bumps on it and stuff that weren't there, the shape of everything is right. Is it the shuttle bay, Richie? I wasn't sure. So yeah, if that's the shuttle bay, fine. But it looks, the shape of it is right. Those 2 slats that are angled on either side, those would be the shuttle bay doors, are in the right place. A lot of things about it are right. And so I got to give them some props, some kudos where it's due, because I want to be fair-minded. This is the first good-looking Klingon ship we've had on Star Trek Discovery. If this becomes a trend, that is a good thing. Okay? So, and now you say it's maybe the shuttle bay. Well, okay, fair. Discovery is still butt ugly, though. Will they update will they retcon the new Klingon Bird of Prey with an updated D7 design? I hope so. And Captain Foley is in the house and is shocked. You see, Captain Foley, let me make this clear, and you're because I got to say this since you're here right now. Yes, I get, and you know me, I get really worked up. I get downright fuming. If you had joined the stream 10 minutes ago, you would think there was just another stream when they retconned the whole thing about the spear data not going to Section 31, even though in the last episode they clearly showed that the spear data, at least a lot of it, went to Section 31. But now, magically, it didn't go. That pissed me off. But that D7 design is the first good-looking Klingon ship that we've seen on Star Trek Discovery, and I genuinely try to to be as objective as I can with this stuff. If I see something that is genuinely good, I'm going to say that is genuinely good. All right? And so, but if it's stupid, like the 54% of the data, yeah, they showed on the screen, so they had 54% of the data in the last freaking episode, and they showed at the beginning of this episode, they showed the fact that they were stealing the data, and then they just say, oh, well, they couldn't take the data. Why not? I thought they did. So, yeah. Anyway, but I do try to be fair. When I see something I genuinely think is well done, I will call that out. So there's that. I still think the stupid 4-nostril thing on the Klingons is dumb, though, since I'm paused on a picture of L'Rell right now. However, I'm not going to rag on things that I've already ragged on. So let's continue on at this point. So the monastery is built for the people that follow the House of Kalis, but also to protect a rare mineral that is on that planet. And what is that rare mineral? Time crystals, of course. So apparently the Klingons have time crystals, because time crystals are... I swear, the writing on this show, as far as anything science-y, is so the opposite of every other Star Trek show. And every Star Trek show, the original series, while granted wasn't as detailed, but Next Gen, DS9, Voyager, and as much as I rag on Voyager about technobabble, I'm going to say this, that Star Trek has always tried to use technical terminology at least somewhat correctly, right? But in STD, Star Trek Discovery, they just freaking throw everything as magic. So instead of, like, for example, this is a perfect example, actually. is that if you look at the original series, the instance of time travel, when the, not talking about like the Guardian of Forever or something like that, but when the Enterprise itself goes back in time, the theoretical data behind how they went back in time is actually relatively sound. We know that warp drive makes it so that the ship's not actually moving as fast as the speed of light. However, if you accelerate towards a high gravitational field, you can actually get the true speed of the ship to accelerate beyond the speed of light, which will be, which would actually send the ship back in time in some theories. So they actually go through that trouble to do that. Voyager uses all sorts of technical terminology, sometimes well, sometimes laughable, but at the same time, they're trying to use technical terminology. Here, they just say, screw it! It's called a time crystal because it makes time machines work. Why? I mean, that's just... Sorry, I need a drink over the time crystal thing because this is pissing me off. It's not the worst thing about this episode. Well, so far there hasn't. The only bad thing about this episode that I really pissed me off was the retcon of the last episode. But I hated the last episode, so that could be a good thing. But the time crystal thing, just call it some exotic name. You know, it's the dumbest thing since unobtainium. It really is. Just call it, I don't care what you call it, call it a Klininka crystal or something, and you just say that it happens to have a property that allows time travel to work. But calling it a time crystal, I mean, come on. Alright, so let's continue on. So, Ash wants to go down to the planet, but Laurel says, hell no. And she, so she's basically talking about how Vokes and her kid cannot be exposed to the rest of the world, or else it will give the Klingons reason to rebel. So that makes a certain amount of sense because, yeah, that whole thing with Voke. However, so now they're yelling at each other in Klingon. Ooh, and Pike, you see, now Pike is being cool again. I like Pike again. He's basically saying, shut up, you two, I'll go down, because if either one of you go down, it'll cause an incident. If I go down, it'll be all right. And so Laurel is going to, she doesn't have any control over the monks, but she'll arrange for them to be there. Captain Redneck is in the house. I just saw that, so let me make sure that I give Captain... Oh, and Captain Foley, I don't know if you're still here, but I owe you as well. There.
Captain Redneck is on the bridge.
And if you're still here, Captain Foley...
Ooh, Captain Foley is on the bridge.
Wasn't that hot?
Ooh, Captain Foley is on the bridge. Ooh.
All right, double whammy. All right, so welcome, Captain Redneck. Doesn't understand why Star Trek fans will still watch this, because it's Star Trek. You know, it's not good Star Trek. It's the worst Star Trek, but yeah. And I want Star Trek to get better. I want Star Trek to succeed. I truly do. Yeah, that's still not as bad as a Red Matter MacGuffin. Agreed with you on that. The time crystal's not as dumb as Red Matter, but it's still dumb. The thing is, I don't mind the existence of the time crystal. I simply object to the name time crystal. That is like such a lazy writing name. You know, like I said, call it a Klatinka crystal and you're fine. You know, call it a Stigurg crystal and you're fine. Call it, you know, I don't know, a quantum quartz crystal and you're fine. But calling it a freaking time crystal is the laziest type of writing. Because are you telling me that the first people said, let's call this a time crystal? Hey, by coincidence, it makes time travel work. Is L'Oreal the Klingon version of L'Oreal? I don't know. CBS really wanted to call it Kyber Crystal. That would be freaking hilarious. Turd Traveler Crystal. Oh, man. And Hector, I have no idea what that link is you're saying to Captain Redneck, but I hope it's not too bad. And let me see if I can open it.
Sitting around watching, but I can't seem to pull myself away. I can't wait to see what next preposterous thing you're going to try. Sitting around watching, but I can't seem to pull myself away. I can't wait to see what next preposterous thing you're going to try.
That is absolutely true. So, if you haven't seen that link that Hector threw in, check it out. All right. It's called a Billy Crystal. Yes, that would be better. Pickle Jars for Hillary says, I got my comment read. Thumbs up. Well, Pickle Jars, I try to read as many comments as I can. And honestly, since I don't know you, at least normally, I haven't seen you around. So let me tell you as far as the way I do my live streams. Number one, like any person on YouTube, yes, if people super chat, I read those and all that. But when I'm not doing a review like I'm doing right now, I read almost every comment that comes in. And so that's just the way that I do things. And the rest of the crew here will tell you that, because those people that are here that are with me all the time, not just when I'm doing Star Trek Discovery, know that. Anyway, so let us continue on, and thank you, Hector, for that clip, because that was perfect timing. All right, so Pike is going to beam down, which actually makes perfect sense. Props to them for doing something that makes sense, because that's so rare. So Burnham is now coming up with the idea of taking a shuttle to investigate the Section 31 ship that did not check in. Saru is letting her go, because he's acting captain because Pike is away. Saru once again taking the helm. And that's actually kind of interesting. Burnham's like, well, I thought I would have to work on convincing you. But it's actually kind of cool because he's admitting that, well, he's a different person now that he's had his ganglia fall out, and now he has spear bones that shoot. That was accurate 80% of the time, 90% more accurate than STD writing. Yes. All right, so now we're seeing the Klingon planet. Not a bad CG landscape. If you can see a little bit behind my head, it doesn't look too bad. Looks consistent with what we've seen of Klingon architecture before, so I'm okay with that. Pike is beamed down to the planet wearing, I think, is a really cool field jacket, a Federation field jacket. I would like to have that jacket. I'll tell you, if anybody ever starts manufacturing and selling it, I like that jacket for wintertime. That would be an awesome jacket to have. Anyway, so there's a albino-ish looking Klingon. That's interesting. But so, and well, Ash said he was from here, so maybe that's just where albino Klingons come from. And no, that's not a Section 31 badge. That's an interesting call. It is black, but it's not the same pattern as the Section 31 badge. And so, yeah. Is the jacket similar to the style they use? Not, well, it's not that far off from the Cage jacket, but it looks a little more real because, you know, they obviously didn't have the production budget for the Cage that they have for Discovery. So, like, if I move here, you can see there's the back view of the jacket. It's got the hood on it. It looks like it's actually a heavy jacket, as opposed to in the Cage, it just looked like they were wearing a thin layer of material. There's a nice side view of the jacket. I actually really dig this field jacket. I think it's cool. Okay, let's see. I bet this will be a retcon of where and when Pike beams down and gets irreversible injuries instead of the one that saves Starfleet kids from radiation. I'm not willing to go that far because I know that Kurtzman is perfectly willing to break continuity, but he has mentioned Pike's destiny a couple of times in interviews, so I doubt that. Surf Tectonic says, I dozed off during the episode, missed the D7. Too bad, the D7 doesn't look half bad. Soon in the CBS online shop. Yeah, I would buy that one. I like that jacket, I gotta admit. Now, granted, it's the wrong time of year, but if come this fall, if any of you guys want to get me a nice present, that jacket would be it. All right, let me continue on here. All right, there's a good shot. So here you can see the jacket from the front here. Now, if you look right here, yes, that badge, the Delta shield is black, but it's solid, as opposed to having the one side broken off and a little offset like they do on all the other stuff. So it's not actually a Section 31 thing, but yeah. So please don't shill for CBS. Believe me, I won't. So he's saying we are the time keepers, that they guard the time crystals, because why not have the monks called the timekeepers when the crystals are called the time crystals? Because that makes sense. So they're basically telling Pike that he can't have a time crystal. Enter is the Anti-Checker online shop open and ready for business to take orders? Not yet. So, Carlo says Southern Comfort is nasty. I don't hate it. It's not my favorite. It's cheap. So they're basically telling Pike that that the time crystals, they sound like the freaking Soul Stone from Marvel Comics, because it sounds like the time crystals can choose whether or not they'll go with you. We'll see here. It is cheap, Carlo. But, you mix it with something, not bad. Alexander, did you see my first live on YouTube? I did not, Alexander. But congratulations on joining the ranks. And by the way, welcome, Alexander. As always, let me go to your channel here. Make sure, yeah, I'm not subscribed to your channel, so I'm going to subscribe to your channel right now. And now I'm disappointed in you, though. You got all these scantily clad women there. Where are the women? Where's 7 of 9? Where are the Asian women? You're lying to me, Alexander. But I will check that out later. And I am now subscribed to your channel. And now I just realized that that was stupid of me, because now I gotta get, where's Discovery? Bring that back up. All right. So Spock is kind of insisting that he go along with Burnham on the recon mission about the Section 31 thing, which, by the way, I'm glad they're doing that, because, and I've said this before, some of the best stuff in the recent episodes has been Spock and Burnham together. So I think that it's a good idea that they're keeping them together as much as possible. So the shuttle is now powering up and taking off from the ship. And, why the hell... Why do they even need starships? The shuttle entered into warp like a half a second after going out of the freaking landing bay. Give me a break. After you, I'll start a live chat and the people will be able to come speak with you. There you go. If you want to talk to someone who's certifiably nuts, Alexander's going to do a live chat as soon as we're finished here. And when I say certifiably nuts, he is freaking nuts. Star Trek Discovery needs a porn parody. Well, there's Jet Reno, everybody. Jet Reno is back, apparently. And let's see. Sci-Fi Sith says, read my last comment. So it says, so are the Klingons monks the Time Lords? Yeah, I guess so. Oh, so they're gonna now fight with the Lizard Man. You remember Lizard Man? He's the one that threw up on the one dude for no reason. Dear Discovery, your shuttle bay door has been in space dock for 2 years. Will you please pay? Yeah, no kidding. So they're playing a game apparently. Earthbound. Sanction. So it's a word game. Okay, so an auto antonym. They're playing a game where they have to say auto antonyms, which they say is a word that means a thing and means the opposite of the thing at the same time. And so, first of all, I don't know if that's I guess that's a thing. I don't know. I'm not an English expert. The Fed Doc, though, I'm going to take a quick break, throws 10 fake Australian dollars into the chat. Thank you so much. Says, don't think I forgot about you, Anti-Checker. Good to have you on in the last few hours of work. Speeds up the time on Friday. Enjoy a pint or a shot glass, whatever is convenient. Give us a spinner Spock. You got it, my friend. Let's get some spinning Spock in the house here. And by the way, for anybody that's new, whenever a Super Chat comes up, there's a list of Super Chat rewards in the bottom. The one that he picked is Super Chat number 10. Oh, except that I forgot to unmute the audio, so hold on. I'm starting it over. And yes, that is the day that disco died. And it's absolutely true, by the way, that yes, today on my channel I put out a 1-hour loop of that song and Spock spinning around. And it was only because some of you guys demanded it. And yes, Kronos, I will mute it in just a second. I wanted to look something up, though. Let's see. Auto antonym is what they're calling it. So auto antonyms are words that are the opposite of themselves. Okay. So let's see. So auto antonym Greek roots meaning the opposite of itself. They have basically been called contronyms, contronyms, antilogies, Janus words after the two-faced Greek mythological figure, which, all right, so below is a list of many of these words. Okay. So, for example, a bill is, so the word bill means both an invoice, which would be something where you would pay the bill, but it also is money, or a $10 bill. So that makes sense. So a bill is both something you have to pay and it's actual cash. Bolt, to secure in place and to dash away suddenly, to bolt. Bound, restrained or bound, to leap. That's actually interesting. I never thought about that. Clip, to fasten together, hold tightly, or to cut apart or cut off. So that's interesting. I did not know that's what I'd never heard of an auto antonym so far. So Star Trek Discovery, a science fiction series about discovering the potential of man. A flying piece of crap. Although this episode hasn't been too bad so All right, so let's move on, and let me remute the audio so I don't get in trouble. And no, Kobayashu, it's not just a word that has two meanings. It's a word that has a meaning that is the opposite of its other meaning. That's the whole idea. Like bill is a great example, because a bill is something you don't want to get the bill where you have to pay the bill. But what do you pay the bill? With a bill, because a bill is also a positive monetary value. That's actually kind of interesting. All right, so is Waman still on the list? No, Waman was replaced actually with the Waffle House one. But if there's enough demand for it, Waman may come back eventually. All right, auto-antonym discovery logic, yes. All right, so let me continue on, or else I'm never going to get through this. Oversight. Yeah, that's, well, I don't know, oversight I can see. I mean, it means that you forgot something. It was an oversight. But do people use the word oversight to mean to look over something, to supervise? I guess. But that just shows lazy writing, because I don't think oversight really counts, but okay. So that was Lizard Boys. And now Dr. Culver comes in and puts his hand on someone's shoulder and makes him, one of the vagina face people, and that makes Stamets upset. And so Stamets is jealous. Oversight, you're right. Oversight Committee. Thank you, MC. You're right. No, Senate Oversight. Yeah, it's a moxymoron. So we just don't use it that way often, but it does make sense. Yeah, that's... So meanwhile, on the planet, Pike and Tanavik are hanging out. And Thomas throws a $1.99 into the chat to stop me once again. Change top chat to live chat. Don't forget to do that. Yes, if you see at the top of the chat, you will see there's an option that says top chat or live chat at the top of it. If you switch it to live chat, you'll make sure you'll see all the comments, as opposed to top chat doesn't necessarily show you everything. So, just like Michael is a boy and a girl name. Yeah, so Michael is... Thanks for reminding me. All right, so in the meantime, he wants number one. You got it, my friend. And by the way, for those of you that don't usually see these Super Chat rewards, number one is an autobiographical story. This is a true story of what would be my life situation if not for those of you that support this channel here on YouTube.
Star Trek Discovery is not even canon, even though I keep saying it is. And Michael is just too perfect to even exist, and you need to shut up about it.
Oh, and I did it again. I did it again. I did not unmute it. Hold on. I'm sorry. Let's get that right. There we go.
Star Trek Discovery is not even canon, even though I keep saying it is. And Michael is just too perfect to even exist, and you need to shut up about it being actually good. I just wanted my waffle.
So yes, I would be working part-time at Waffle House to supplement my income instead of YouTube, if not for you guys. Obviously, like any YouTuber, I hope one day to do this full-time, but until that day comes, I'm still very grateful that I'm not working two jobs. And yes, Mr. Miles, I did hit the remute button. Thank you. Because I got it. Yeah, I got to remember to do that. Did he ever get the waffle? I don't know. Don't know if he ever got it. Ah, so he's an albino because that is Vok's son. Because magic time crystals let him grow up instantaneously. Why the hell not? Because I dropped my phone. But time crystals are clearly magic. So the past, present, and future are all equal in the presence of time crystals. Meanwhile, they're watching trees grow instantaneously because time works differently when you got time crystals around. Why the hell didn't the Klingons use time crystals in any of their conflicts with the Federation? I need something here. Oh, I got the Dubliner right here. Let's have some of this. So Burnham and Spock are on the shuttle on their way to wherever they're going. And I have to say, I haven't been bitching to... I haven't even had to grab the punching bag this time so far. This has been a decent episode for them. Couple of things that I haven't liked, but so far I can understand why Foley liked it so much. Granted, I wouldn't give it a 9 out of 10 in all probability, but it's been much better than the typical Discovery episode. So Spock's pointing out that the common denominator with everything involving this whole temporal mess has been Michael Burnham. Keep the punching... I got the punching bag right here, Ozzy. If I need it, I got it. Don't worry. Annoying actors in shuttles. I'll tell you, it's not the actor's fault. I mean, first of all, I think Ethan Peck has been good as Spock. Sonequa Martin Green, when she's working with Ethan Peck, they have good chemistry. They're believable as brother and sister, and I like that about them. But unfortunately, they... and I don't know if they smoke or inject the time crystals, pickle jars. I don't know. Romulan stole tech from Shinzon. Yeah, I tell you, I don't know. Why have the Klingons ever lost a war if they have a planet full of time crystals? Shave the Spock. I agree with that. Spock. Whoa! And so there's lots of dead people floating in space. That's not good. And Michael Burnham, because she's freaking Michael Burnham, can tell that it's the entire crew just at a glance. Why not? Could have lost the planet. True. Alright, so one of the bodies is still alive, so they're going to beam them over. Maybe one of them is... That would be hilarious! Oh, that would be too funny. That's an edit I have to do. That's something I will definitely be doing. All right, so the guy, one of the officers from the Shinzo is there. Wasn't he the one that died? I'm trying to remember. Was that the dude that came into the prison cell by accident and then got sucked out into space? So, if that is him, this is definitely not him. It's probably Control pretending to be him or something. Or maybe it is him. Who knows? No, I don't think it was him. I think it was the helmsman, not the tactical officer. I was getting them confused because in the old days of Trek, you know, Chekhov was kind of both. Yeah, I don't think that's him. Thank you. That was Connor. Thank you. So it's believable that he's around. Now watch, it is Control. Alexander in a completely random comment saying he wants to see the new Joker movie. I'm torn on that. I might do a video about that Joker trailer. So they're going to beam over to the vessel to figure out why the ship is still sitting there. Why kill the whole crew just to sit there doing nothing? How about it's a trap? That would make sense. I mean, didn't Spock... The writers can't be this naive. Well, never mind, it's Discovery. Burnham knows all the Starfleet personnel from 7,000 ships. You're probably right. It's a trap! Yes, Mr. Miles, I think it is a trap. I mean, that's the only reason the ship would just be sitting there, right? But here's the thing, and this is it's got to be a trap. And even though I'm a little annoyed with Michael Burnham being the hero of everything, I'll buy the fact that since Michael Burnham is at the center of this whole time storm crap, then I would. Is Mecca live? Did she get her live stream privileges back already? If that's true, that's awesome. So let me hold on. I'm gonna have to stop for just a minute to verify this, because if that is true, then we need to do something about that. Hold on. And let me go to her channel. Make a random. I don't see a live stream when I go to her channel. Oh, she's live on her alternate channel? Okay. Man, I was gonna get all excited and like say, oh, cool.
Oh, that works. Hello, Kronos. Ooh, Aussie junk food.
All right, so and I see Kronos, you're a traitor. I see how it is, Kronos. You're already over there. So, but real quick, everybody, and Thomas is there too. So everybody say hi to her real quick. Please do. And I'll show you there. Mr. Miles put the link there. Go to her chat real quick. Tell her the anti-trekker says hi, even though she shouldn't be streaming yet because I'm still working on this stream. And tell her I'm going to slap her. But do send her my love, please. And I mean that. Everybody that if you can open up a second window or whatever, let her know that you know we're all still pulling for her. Can't wait till she gets her streaming privileges back. So I see Thomas said that. All right, let's see if she sees that.
Like a lot of movie girl stuff. So.
And
Anti-trekker says hello. Hello, anti-trekker.
so she just said hello.
Oh, I'm sorry. Richard Hewitt. How do you like it? I liked it. It was dark. It was like a dark 80s kids. It was kind of like.
All right, so she's giving spoilers. Sounds like probably about Shazam or something from the sound of it, and I don't want to. Yeah, she's doing a Shazam review, and I don't want to know because I'm going to see it this weekend. All right, so now that that's awesome, the mecha's doing good, and oh, let's see.
Okay. I heard like 2 seconds of his thing. He said something that no, it was a fun movie. It was in a good mood. That's all I heard. I popped in for a second.
All right, so she's just talking about Shazam. I don't know Jack about that movie yet, and I don't want to know. I'm looking forward to it. And thank you all of you that said hi to her. I do appreciate it because this is one thing that I care about deeply, and I absolutely mean this. And this is anti-trekker getting serious for just a minute. We are a nerd community, all right? And we need to show the love. We truly do. Regardless of whether we agree or disagree with everything that everybody says. Because obviously there are things that Mecca and I don't see eye to eye on, but I have a lot of respect for her. All right, same thing with Nerdrotic, same thing with Doomcock, same thing with Lore Reloaded, and Trek Yards for sure. The genuine nerd community out there, we need to show each other love more than hate. And so when one of us gets attacked by CBS like Mecca did, that's an attack against all of us. That's an attack against us being able to express ourselves and talk about the things that we hold dear. The reason I talk about Star Trek Discovery is because I love Star Trek. It's not because I just want to rip on something. If I just wanted to rip on something, I would only talk about stuff I hate, and I don't. But so thank you all that went over and said hi to her. I truly, truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And even those of you that abandoned my stream, jerks, because I went from like 84 people to 78, but that's okay. Mecca's a lot better looking than me, so I can't argue with that. All right, so let's continue on. And Pickle says, I don't hate Trek Yards, but I think that its views of Star Trek Discovery are dollar backed. I don't know. First of all, I know Captain Foley. Okay. And next Borg video is coming soon. I know I've been behind on that, guys, and I appreciate your understanding with it, because you know I've been going through a lot in the last couple of months with some of the stuff I've been through. So thank you for those of you that have been putting up with me. I'm trying to get back on the saddle. It's been very difficult for me. But I'm not going to say poor me and cry me a river or anything. That's just the way it is. Yeah, it looks like the numbers popped back up. It's probably just when people switched over to Mecca for a second to say hi, it dropped, and now it's coming back. So, anyway, and no, I would not give this a 9 out of 10 by any stretch, but so far, it's doing better than any other Star Trek Discovery episode. I would probably, if the episode were over and it's consistently this good, I'd probably give it around a 7, which is insanely high for me. The highest I've given any Trek Discovery episode before is a 6. But anyway, as far as Foley, I want to address that real quick, because I know that people have accused Foley of being a shill for CBS. He is not. All right. Now, Foley does have a lot of contacts at CBS, mostly in the effects side of things. People that have designed these ships, people that have worked with all that stuff. And yes, that's part of the reason that even when he doesn't like something, he's not as harsh as someone like myself or Doomcock or Mecha Random would be. However, he's still perfectly willing to say that he doesn't like stuff. And if you listen to his channels, you'll hear that a lot. You'll hear him say, oh no, that's not good. That doesn't work. You will not find him talking about the Season 1 Klingon ships in Discovery as being anything but crap. All right. But he tries to keep his channel relatively positive, and a lot of that is because of the fact that he's trying to maintain relationships with these people. And he should, because you know what? Foley is a genuine, caring nerd, and we want people like him talking to these people rather than true shills. All right? And so Foley and Cockings are good guys. Anyway, I don't mean to go on a tirade about that, but I know they get that sometimes from people. And I want to make it clear that while I don't agree, and Captain Foley and I have argued. In fact, I'm going to be on a couple episodes of Trek Yards where we had a lot of fun time arguing about stuff. If you saw my interview with Commander Cockings, I told him to his face that I thought that it was a huge mistake what he did with his short film as far as the big plot twist. So I'm not afraid to tell him when I disagree with him, but I respect him. I truly, truly respect him. All right. So let us move forward, guys, and enough about me being sappy about Captain Foley. And yes, Drunk Foley is the best. I have to admit, I mean, Laurel, I never liked her character, but she's a little bit better in this than what I've seen her in before. The writers have definitely, well, not the writers, but the director of this episode, I think, has done a good job. I mean, like, that whole thing with her saying that he's mother, that pissed me off. Imagine Doomcock subbing for Foley. That would be horrible. Yeah, her neck is, but that's not just her. I noticed that on a couple of the Klingons where they have, like, this, ugh. No, I'm definitely not shilling for Trek Yards. I don't have any Trek Yards cash. If I did, that would be nice. And I would, Pickle Jar, I would love to see Harvey released on CBS. Maybe it's Laurel. Maybe it's Maybelline. So that's funny because they were just saying how they never named their child, which makes sense because he was a baby. However, he has a name. So they're looking at a time crystal that's the pillar of the past, and then they're just kind of walking past it. Alright. And Sci-Fi Sis says, read my last... Man, why is it every time I glance you said read my last comment? How do you think Star Trek Discovery will end, judging by their record of always retcons their own story and constant continuity errors? I don't know. And I'm glad about that. I genuinely don't have a good, solid idea of how they're going to end this season. I know that they've said that they're going to make it line up with existing established canon. The only way I can see them doing that is some kind of massive time reset, which would make the first 2 seasons of the show completely irrelevant, which I know a lot of people aren't going to cry over, including myself, but it seems kind of pointless to even produce 2 seasons that you're going to then just erase in the second season finale. So I genuinely don't know how they're going to end it, but I'm curious. So they're opening up the room of all the time crystals. And it does keep kind of, it's very reminiscent of some of the stuff I've read about Kyber crystals and the Jedi. I mean, if you can see it, there's time crystals all over the place. For such a rare thing, they've got a buttload of them. So Pike and, I can't remember the Klingon's name, are looking at the various crystals. Yeah, I don't like the... Okay, so... So he's warning that if he touches the crystal, he may go mad. And so Pike, of course, is going to touch the crystal. And come on, Pike. Just, it looks like kryptonite, though. So... Oh! Holy crap, they're doing it. They are doing it. They are showing the incident. I didn't think they'd have the balls to do this. I don't know if they're going to do it well, but they are showing the incident. This is when Pike... I don't... They haven't said it yet, but I guarantee you this is when Pike ends up injured from the Delta rays. If you notice... Behind him, let me move my hand. Okay, right here it says Starfleet training. We heard the computer say that there was an alert and radiation. This is it. This is it. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they deal with it. So obviously bad things are going on all around the engine room. Pike is trying to rescue some cadets. He's being thrown against the wall. And there he is. He's burned. He is burned bad. I don't know. I know you guys can't really see it very well, but he is in bad shape there. Okay, and now all of a sudden he's better. This is kind of weird, but it's a time travel thing, so who knows? Oh, what is that? I'm looking at... I don't know how well you guys can see it, but his shoulder... This is not a uniform we've seen before. And so I'm curious. That's interesting. So he's looking around the room. All right, so behind him in the distance, I know you can see these blurry lights here. That looks like that's Pike in the chair. I bet you that's Pike in the chair. So I'll lean back so you guys can see him roll in here. See how it's moving? And it's coming towards him now. So Pike is walking towards it. Oh, I like that. I have to admit, I've never liked any of the uniforms on Star Trek Discovery until this very moment. I don't know how well you guys can see this. But the badge looks like the badge from, I'm trying to think. You know what it looks like? It looks like the belt buckle from the Wrath of Khan era. It's the Delta shield with a brass circle around it. It's actually really cool. But then the shoulders and everything look very reminiscent of the dress uniforms from the J.J. Abrams films. But I gotta say, I like the uniform. And once again, Sci-Fi Sith Dan says, read my last comment. So let me see. I bet there will be an episode that will reset the timeline, given all the time crystals to reset the timeline. That, yeah, I think that's probably true at this point. But I gotta say, that's this uniform, had they gone with this design for the uniform for the series, I would have been cool with it. It is very reminiscent of Wrath of Khan as far as the fold over tunic and everything, and the way the badge is, but this would have been a much better design than those blue jumpsuits that they're wearing. All right, so, and let's see, are they going to show him? They're going to show him. There it is. So there's Pike in the chair. Now, and Mr. Miles says, if I ever ask you to read my last comment, please shoot me. Will do. So, the chair, obviously a little more streamlined than the chair we saw in the original series. However, the basic design is there. The makeup, pretty good. It looks very much like the makeup from the original series episode, The Menagerie. So, it's a Dalek. Now, it's not, it would be Davros, if anybody. And no, he's not missing an eye. He's just got scars and stuff all around. Again, this level of visual restyling, I'm okay with. Because this, if you show me this, I'm like, okay, that's Captain Pike. All right? That's the thing. It's not, and this is where I think that the people, the designing, the people that were behind a lot of the stuff don't understand. Is that it's not that it has to look identical to what it looked like before, but it has to be recognizable. If I show someone a picture of this, and they're a Star Trek fan, I don't need to tell them who this character is. They will recognize immediately that that is Captain Pike. Even though the center light is shaped differently, even though this chair is more curvy than angular like the original, this is clearly Captain Pike. The whole point of if you're going to redo something or do a prequel or any kind of reimagining is to keep the spirit of it alive, and they did that with this design. I am actually blown away by that. I'm going to have a drink in honor of the fallen Captain Pike. So, good job, guys. So, let us continue on. So, Pike is touching his wheelchair, and he's got a look of absolute horror on his face, which makes sense. Now, they show close-up of Pike's face, and he's melting. And so, that was a truly horrifying moment of Pike, for Pike. Ah! So according to the Klingons, if he accepts the time, and this is the stupid thing, all right? So I know I'm just saying a lot of nice stuff about it. So here's the stupid thing. So now they're saying that if he takes the time crystal, that will be his future, which obviously we know that means that he's going to take the crystal, and that he cannot escape it. If he doesn't take the time crystal, then it's only a possible future. That makes no freaking sense. And Hector, yes, because it's magic. Why are we throwing freaking magic into this? That doesn't make sense. Instead, he should say, that is your future. And that's why it's so maddening to know that that's what's going to happen to you. So, I mean, because if you saw that and you knew that's how you were going to end up, that would mess up anybody. So, yeah. Yeah, quantum magic, that's exactly. Beady, beady, beady. Hey, Buck. He's going to lick his hand now. So Pike, of course, I'm sorry for being so quiet there for a minute. This is actually good stuff. So Pike, despite the fact that he's absolutely horrified by what he saw, is taking the time crystal, sealing his fate, meaning that he will end up in the wheelchair, but then, duh, we know that. If there was a Pike show, there wouldn't really be any odds due to us knowing his fate. That's true, but I would still I love Anson Mount as Pike. I would absolutely love to see a Pike show on the new Enterprise. If they can just fix the freaking Enterprise. How much did Foley put in your PayPal? Unfortunately, nothing. I'm not giving it a 9 out of 10. I'm sorry, nothing about this is that good. But this is definitely the best episode so far. And Anson Mount is freaking awesome. Alright, so now we're back to Burnham, Spock, and Red Shirt. Because I don't remember his name, so he's either Control or he's going to die. One of those two things is an absolute certainty. Enterprise returns next week. Good, I'm looking forward to it. If they can give it the treatment they've given Pike, I'm okay with it. They need to do something with the sets, though. Wait for the punching bag. I got the punching bag right here if I need it. See? Got it right here. Haven't needed it all night. I'm impressed. So it's a 1.5 on the torture. Yeah, so far it's pretty light on the torture. Really, this is a record. The only thing that's really pissed me off, just straight up pissed me off, was that whole retcon at the beginning. So now we cut back to the story I don't care about. So Jet Reno has a hangnail and is going to see Dr. Culver about it because she says it hurts like a, and I quote, bitch, because that's such Star Trek to throw that in there. She just, oh jeez. Jet Reno is now... So she's trying to play matchmaker for him and Stamets. Excuse me, just a moment. They were doing so good. They were really doing good with this episode. Now, granted, it's not the end of the world kind of thing. And Mark says that's not the punching bag scene. Well, shoot, I might have to grab the punching bag. I threw it across the room. So, yeah. This is the agenda rearing its ugly head. And granted, they've done it less in later episodes, which I appreciate so much. But when they do it so hardcore, and it's just really pissing me off. I do not care about who the hell Jet Reno screws. I don't care. I don't want to know about her sexuality unless it's an important part of the story. I don't mind the Stamets-Culver relationship. I have said repeatedly on this stream that, not tonight's stream, but over the last couple of months, that the Stamets-Culver relationship, up until the Burnham-Spock relationship, has been the most authentic relationship in the entire show. And that the two of them have really good chemistry, and that it felt real. That their love for each other felt real. And I'm down for that as long as it's an interesting character moment. But here, they throw the fact that Jet Reno is gay just to say that she's gay. It does not serve the story one freaking bit. There's no point to it. It's just, I mean, because her wife is not on the show. Non-denominational shuttle parking. What the hell is that? Vegan steak. I think that's funny. Oh, and she's dead. Of course she's dead. Of course, if you had to sleep with Jet Reno, that killed just about anybody. So basically, the only person who can fix the torn, broken gay guy relationship is a lesbian, because of course that's the only way to step up from a gay male relationship. This is just stupid. And that's the thing. It's, you know what? I don't, the problem is that I don't, you know, her sexuality is not a part of the story. Now, that's the thing. Stamets and Culver's sexuality is a part of the story, right? That's why I don't mind it, because it actually is an intrinsic part of the entire overarching series. That's fine. However, just to throw her, oh yeah, by the way, I'm gay because I'm gay. And the thing is, I shouldn't even be the slightest bit surprised, because I remember when they cast whatever her stupid name is as Jet Reno, which is the dumbest name of any character ever. But when they cast her, the only thing that all the freaking articles were saying is, hey, they got this great lesbian actress. I don't care if she's a lesbian. That doesn't make her a good actress. Just cast a good actress. And you know what? She's not a good actress. At least not if this is what she's capable of. She feels flat and one-dimensional. She's supposedly a stand-up comic, and I'm guessing that the way she delivers her lines is the way she delivers her comedy. That she's just dry and boring. And if people like that, fine. I understand that if you think her freaking jokes are hilarious, then great, have at it. But I don't find her funny. I don't find her interesting. And I think her character is beyond even the Mary Sue level of stupidly competent. Because, I mean, in the first time we see her, she's a freaking engineer that can fix people's brains because she read a book. Because they had to have somebody that makes Scotty look like a freaking idiot. All right. Let's move on. All right, so back on the Section 31 ship. So they're going to try to create a fake startup routine in the computer to draw the AI into that startup routine and then trap it there. How does that make any freaking sense? It doesn't, because an AI could simply copy itself there. Why the hell? What? That's just stupid. You don't... That would be like if I said, hey, you know what? I'll create a new partition on my hard drive and throw an exe file. That'll draw the AI there. No, it would just copy itself there. What? It doesn't make sense. So now Burnham and Red Shirt are having a conversation about how he ended up in Section 31.
Section 31 accelerated their threat assessment program to prevent a war from ever even starting. Sounded like a good idea.
So he's talking about how awesome Section 31 is.
It might sound impossible, but with control, it's not an impossibility.
All right, so he is control. What? Wait a minute. What? Hold on. I gotta go look at this. All right. Look at the phaser that she's reaching for. Does that... Oh, okay. Why would you take the phaser holster off of your belt and set it on the table? At first I thought it was a phase pistol like from Enterprise because of that big area in the front, but I guess it's just in the holster because that makes no sense, but whatever. We'll just continue on. So obviously Ensign Redshirt is in fact control. And you know, they should have figured because Leland wasn't around. Where is Leland, by the way? That's what I want to know. Only Kirk could turn lesbian straight. Well, that's true. That's true. So, Control is telling Burnham that he needs to fulfill its programming. And Burnham's saying you're trying to, but you're programmed to protect life. Oh, that's just stupid! Stupid! Look, so far, the scene is well acted, it's well shot, and overall, it's interesting. However, Control's motivations make no effing sense, all right? So, we've already had the discussion about how is it that something could want to be sentient, because if you want to be sentient, you clearly are sentient, and therefore, you already are what you're trying to achieve, which makes no freaking sense, right? So that we've already talked about in weeks past. However, and yes, so far this is a record, because I'm not even grabbing the punching bag on this, because I like the scene, even though I don't like the motivation. So the stupid thing here is that, so Control's whole motivation, because Control is programmed to preserve life, right? And that's the whole point of Section 31, is to preserve the Federation at all costs. And so Burnham points out that Control is programmed to save life and not to extinguish it. And he says, well, to do one, you have to do the other. And so then he explains that by merging with the AI from the sphere, then that will make it the purest sentient life form ever. How does that make any sense at all? Pure as opposed to what? How are you pure? How are you more pure than any other life form? I could understand, you know, this isn't a racist thing, right? You know, it's like, well, we need to preserve the Aryan race or something like that. No. Pure, what does that mean? Now, I know if it's a Borg thing, what he should have said is the most perfect life form. But pure means nothing. Everything that is alive is purely a life form. That makes no sense. It truly doesn't make sense. And that's what's really disappointing here, is because overall, despite the stupid virtue signaling of, oh, look, I'm gay, everybody. Aside from that, this has been a really, and the retcon at the very beginning, this has been a solid episode. So why did the writers not stop to think about changing, instead of pure life form, to perfect life form? That would have made sense, especially if they're going Borg. If they are going Borg with control, then saying perfection would make sense here. All right. Let's continue on. And by the way, why did his voice suddenly become mechanical sounding? That doesn't make sense. Ozzy says, brace yourself, it gets worse. We'll see. So... oh, so Control needs Michael's help. So now Michael is shooting at Control. Now, I'm assuming that what you're talking about, why I'm going to get pissed off, is that it's all about Michael once again. However, I'm not going to get overly pissed off about that, only because they already had that conversation in the shuttle with Spock. I knew it was about Michael. And I'm okay with that as long as Michael doesn't turn into a superhero here. Now, she's trying, you know, she's getting her ass kicked by Control, which I appreciate because she can beat up robots. So yeah, Control is just whipping her butt all over the place. And, okay, so here's what I don't understand. So Control's trying to inject her with nanites, and you can see he's like trying to push the needle into her face, and she's holding him back. How the hell is Michael strong? Now, granted, this is not, and I want to repeat, this is not inconsistent, because Michael beat up a robot earlier, right, in previous episodes. However, it kind of is annoying that why is it that Michael can hold off a superpowered robot with nanites fueling everything it does, right? We've already established these things are phaser proof, they're super strong. Why is it that she can do that? Now, I don't like it, but you know, it's at least consistent. Now, however, now this is where I'm going to I'll tell you, I was about to reach for the punching bag, but I'll tell you why I'm not. Because I just saw something that I really loved, and I had to rewind it a second so I can show you and share this moment with you guys. Because this is freaking awesome, and this is an absolute first for Star Trek Discovery. I love this moment absolutely 100%. So, you can see right here that Control has got the needle about to stab her in the eye, and despite Michael's super strength, she's losing the fight here. But check this out. Just watch. Only a few seconds here. Yes! Spock shows up. Spock shows up and bails out Michael. That is freaking awesome. Spock saves the day. This is the first time that I can think of in Star Trek Discovery where someone other than Michael Burnham saves the day. So Spock, thank you. Best moment in the entire series to date. And by the way, I gotta say, I like the look on Spock's face right there. But that is freaking good. To finally have Michael Burnham overpowered and someone else save the day. Now, I'm going to get pissed, of course, if Spock ends up getting his ass kicked and then Michael has to save him, but we'll see what happens here. Because, I mean, I know Control is super powerful and everything, so I don't expect him to go down easy, but we'll see. So Spock tried to do the neck pinch. Didn't work. He broke Spock's hand just by twisting it out. That hurt. Throws Spock across the room. Michael grabs a phaser, starts shooting him over and over and over. It's hurting him. It looks like I might have celebrated too soon. Because now Michael Burnham is kicking Control's ass. At least she needed an assist from Spock, I'll say that much. Spock is up to something, though. He's doing something on the computer. And all of a sudden, all the nanites are just pouring out of Ensign Redshirt coming after Michael. And she's trying to shoot them, but they're still coming. This is actually pretty intense. So Michael's backed up against the corner. Spock is messing around on the computer. Michael's grabbing 2 phasers, double barreling it, firing constantly at this thing as the nanites are coming to get her. It doesn't look good for Michael. And then, wait. Twice in one episode. I love whoever wrote this. Thank you. Spock saves Michael twice in one episode. Yes! Thank you! I'm having another celebratory drink here. It would be nice if phasers could fire a constant beam. You're right about that. Thank you, whoever the hell wrote this episode. But... yeah, continuous beam would definitely be better instead of blasters. That's definitely sure. Yeah, it must have been some new hire at the writer's room. Because, you know, that was awesome. So what Spock, I don't know exactly what he did. I'm sure they'll explain in a minute. But Spock was doing something on the computer. And Michael was about to be taken down. He hit a button on the computer. And all of a sudden the nanites just went and went to the floor. Yeah, thank God his dyslexia didn't ruin it. Yes. So let's continue on and see what did Spock do. Ah! That was so... That's actually a classic Spock moment right there. And yeah, I see Daniel's putting it in there. Yeah, he magnetized the floor because he realized that the nanoprobes were made out of a ferromagnetic material. Which is fine. That's cool. And he said, and this, like I said, this is actual Spock dialogue that makes sense, that he had to calculate the exact frequency of which to energize the floor's electrical grid in order to create a magnetic field that would be sufficient to pull those things down. And then he apologized for being so slow. I could absolutely see Leonard Nimoy's character delivering those lines. So I'm thoroughly blown away. I am thoroughly blown away by the fact that they actually had Spock save Michael's ass, not once but twice, and Spock acting like Spock even after the fight. So they have the control bots are trapped. Waits for it to all go wrong. Yeah, Fed, I would not be surprised. So Spock figures out the control was blocking his tricorder, which is why they couldn't tell that Ensign Redshirt was actually control. That makes sense. So yeah, and Michael's actually not being stupid here. I'll give her some credit because, and when I say that, I mean like writer stupid, not necessarily. I mean, because I know Burnham is a Mary Sue and all that, but and Spock's correct too. So whatever it is, and this actually makes a certain amount of sense, is that Control knows that Michael Burnham is the wild card factor that will cause Control's downfall if it doesn't assimilate her, and that's why it's so desperate to get her. So they're talking about, so Discovery has a time crystal. They're going to try and figure out what to do with it. Laurel wants to know what the monks asked for from Pike. Pike said, what I experienced is for me alone. And yeah, that was a pretty intense thing with Pike. And that's, I think, why this episode works, is that Pike's journey and his discovery of what's going to happen was really good, as was Burnham and Spock's journey. Now, the C plot with Reno and Stamets and stuff was stupid, but the A and B plot were both really strong in this episode. And so now Pike is explaining that he talked to their adult son, which, you know, which is cool. And he tells him the name is Tonavik. They make Mikey Spock sound like Neo from The Matrix. Kind of, yeah. Let's hope the writers don't make both Burnham and Spock Mary Sue's. Well, the control did break Spock's arm. And notice, of course, once again, Burnham gets away without a scratch. But whatever. I got you the cut of Foley doing the snowflake thing. I'll have the link ready for you momentarily. Oh, thank you, Mr. Miles. Yeah, so, and by the way, so those of you that were wondering, as far as, yeah, there's like 90 people, 88 right now watching. My record so far is 103, I believe. Which, thank you, by the way, all of you that are watching. I truly appreciate it. I love having you here. Section 31 ship is appearing. Oh, a bunch of Section 31 ships. So, 30 ships. What? So, Section 31 dispatched 30 ships to go after Discovery, and Saru just said that's nearly their entire fleet. So, Starfleet has over 7,000 ships, but Section 31 has 30? Finally, granted it's Michael Burnham that says it, but finally someone's saying, hey, how about we just blow up the ship? Yeah, but Discovery has spore drive. Exactly. Why don't they just turn on the spore drive? You're right. I didn't even think of that. What are they worried about? Just jump halfway across the universe. So Pike is ordering them to get the auto-destruct ready. And cut to black. The end. Oh, unless... Okay, so... Someone said the trailer for next week looks good. So, trailer for next week, we see Sarek. Oh, there's the Enterprise next to Discovery. Very cool. Pike back in his gold uniform, which does look better. There's Georgiou. There's... The, oh, let me pause. Let me go back for a second. I want to see that again. So this is interesting. So here we have, it looks like Discovery and Enterprise facing down an entire fleet of ships, probably Section 31 from the looks of it. And it's April 5th. Happy First Contact Day. I did not even realize. Yes, you're right. It is First Contact Day. And wants to see number 4. You got it, my friend. Oh, wait. Unmute. Unmute before it plays. It's not going to unmute before it plays, is it? Damn it. Come on. Oh, Yes. I do love that one. That is the true story of how I met Mrs. Anti-Trekker. So this is actually a cool shot of the Enterprise and Discovery facing down with an enemy fleet. Okay, so here's the Enterprise bridge, for those of you that want to see it. Okay, so they got the chairs right. That's about it. I mean, honestly, they got the chairs right. That's all I can say. But whatever. And Enterprise firing torpedoes. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to next week, which I never thought I would say that. But yeah, the chairs are right. Everything else looks horrible. Only 44 years to go till first contact. That is correct. What's with that screen on the Enterprise? Well, it's consistent with everything else we've seen in Discovery, to be honest with you. That is, yeah, the chairs look good. I'll say that. And Trekker and fellow nerds, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, Schromer, how you doing? Okay, so this is the best episode of Discovery so far, and I'm happy to say that. I truly am. I am not going to give it a 9 out of 10 like Captain Foley, but I will give it a solid 7 out of 10. This is the first episode that I can truly say was good. Not just watchable, but good. I did not think I would say that about a Discovery episode this season. It was actually interesting and good throughout. No, I said 7 out of 10 sci-fi, not 7.5. It was a solid episode. It was an enjoyable episode. And in fact, I would probably give it a 7.5 or even an 8 out of 10 if you just eliminated the C plot completely, because it was a waste. The whole Stamets Culver, Jet Reno, hey everybody, I'm gay thing was stupid. But the A and B plot were both solid, well acted, well directed. They actually, the only thing that they really dropped the ball on was some of the writing, as far as like the motivations of Control. That was stupid beyond stupid. The retcon at the beginning. However, I'm glad they did the retcon, because this was a good episode, and so it's actually made sense to kind of erase some of what happened with the last episode. So I'm okay with that if it makes for a good episode. So with that, oh, we hit 90. Awesome. 90 people watching. Welcome each and every one of you that are here. I am Michael J. Crawford, the Anti-Trekker, if you're new to the channel. And thank you for hanging out with me. I love doing these Discovery watches, especially when it is actually occasionally a good show, which this is only the second episode that I've given better than a 5 out of 10. So, in the meantime, I will ask each and every one of you, if you have not already, to like, subscribe, all that standard crap. But Alexander, who just said, I am part of that people, in the chat. He is about to start a live stream, so check out Alexander's channel. I have no idea if he's any good or not, but he is batshit crazy, all right? The man is absolutely insane. However, he's a fun part of the community. I love having him here, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does on his channel. And so, Alexander, I hope you're getting your live stream ready, because if you're not already getting it up and running, then people aren't going to come over and say hi. In the meantime, I hope that I can eventually come up with a decent sign-off so I don't sound like an idiot rambling on at the end of the show. Oh yeah, audio. I'm an idiot. Or as they would say on Harvey Birdman, ha ha!